Michael and Sarah Thompson stand outside their cozy home in San Diego, radiant and full of hope. Sarah's hand rests tenderly on her round belly, while Michael wraps an arm protectively around her. They exchange smiles, excited to welcome their first child, Daniel, into the world. Their wedding rings glint in the afternoon sun as they talk about their upcoming camping trip. Inside their living room, Michael carefully packs their gear. He folds sleeping bags and tucks a vintage white Polaroid camera into Sarah's backpack. Sarah sits on the couch, watching him with a smile, gently rubbing her belly and humming a soft tune. The air is filled with excitement and peaceful calm before their desert adventure. They load their silver SUV, music playing softly, and start their drive to Joshua Tree National Park. Laughing and singing, Michael steals glances at Sarah as she rests her hand on her belly, the anticipation of their last trip together filling the car with warmth. The sprawling desert landscape starts to come into view as they drive deeper into the wilderness. At the park entrance, a friendly ranger greets the couple. He notices Sarah's glowing skin and Michael's wide smile. The ranger gives them a map and reminds them to stay safe. The couple thanks him and drives onto the dusty trails, eager to find a perfect camping spot. They find a secluded spot surrounded by towering Joshua trees and rugged rocks. Michael unloads the gear while Sarah unpacks snacks. Together, they pitch the tent in the fading afternoon light. Sarah admires the clear sky beginning to glow with stars. As night falls, Sarah pulls out her Polaroid camera and asks Michael to stand with her belly. The camera's flash startles a small owl perched nearby, making them both laugh. The stars above twinkle brightly, and they hold each other, savoring the quiet intimacy. The couple settles into their sleeping bags inside the tent. The cool desert wind hums softly outside. Michael whispers stories of the stars. Sarah listens, her hand on his chest, feeling comforted despite the vastness around them. The first light of dawn filters through the tent's mesh window. Sarah stirs but feels uneasy. She reaches for her shoes but notices they are missing. Michael sits up, scanning the quiet desert around them. Outside, the Polaroid camera lies on the ground, a half-printed blurry photo beside it. Hours pass. The couple is nowhere to be found. Rangers and family begin the frantic search. The campsite remains untouched except for the mysterious half-printed Polaroid photo, puzzling those who find it. Months turn to years. Flyers with their photos fade in the desert sun. Detectives chase cold leads while Michael and Sarah's families hold on to hope, their grief deepening but unresolved. A decade later, Brian Miller hikes far off the beaten path in Joshua Tree, camera in hand. He pauses to photograph a unique rock formation, unaware his shot will uncover a chilling secret. Reviewing his photo, Brian freezes. Two faint human-like shapes stand near jagged rocks. One figure's belly curves distinctly, resembling a pregnant woman. His heart races as he contemplates what he's seeing. Brian approaches the location, feeling a strange stillness in the air. Desert sounds fade as he nears. He discovers two skeletons partially buried in sand, clothing remnants clinging to their frames. Between the skeletons, Brian finds a rusty old Polaroid camera, half buried. He gently uncovers it, unaware of the decades-old mystery he's about to revive. Brian shows the photos and camera to a park ranger, who pales upon hearing the story. The ranger reveals the decades-old disappearance of a pregnant couple matching Brian's discovery. Detectives reopen the cold case. The site becomes an active crime scene. Specialists handle the fragile Polaroid camera and its film, hoping for answers trapped in decades-old images. The first recovered photo shows Michael and Sarah holding hands before a large rock, but in the shadows, an unsettling figure lurks, blurred yet clearly watching. Detective Laura Briggs studies the photo, recalling a similar masked man scene in an old desert disappearance case. The eerie figure triggers a cold, familiar dread. The photo is digitally enhanced, revealing the masked figure's crude stitched leather mask and ragged clothing. The figure's eyes glint unervingly from beneath the mask. The second photo, darker and taken just before sunrise, shows a tent zipped shut with the masked figure standing motionless, staring at the campsite from a distance. The third photo is from inside the tent. Michael's startled face is visible, and pressed against the mesh window is the masked figure's eerie face. Laura reviews old cases. 5 other campers vanished over years in Joshua Tree. Each disappearance had whispers of a man with a stitched face stalking the desert. A search team scours the area near the remains. They discover a narrow crevice filled with signs of prolonged habitation. Discarded food wrappers, scraps of fabric, and animal bones. Under sand, they find a small rusty metal box containing dozens of Polaroid photos of various campers, all taken secretly. Among the photos is one of Laura herself, taken in her backyard years ago through a fence gap. The realization hits. The killer has been watching her too. Late at night, Laura receives a phone call with a deep, rasping voice warning her not to open the box. The line goes dead, heightening the menace. Brian returns to Laura, terrified. He's being followed by the masked figure now stalking the city, captured on shaky video outside Brian's apartment. Officer Daniels fails to report during surveillance near Joshua Tree's southern border. His car is found abandoned with a Polaroid photo of him inside, taken secretly. The killer escalates, striking in more populated areas. Laura urges caution but knows the predator thrives on fear. At 2:17 a.m., surveillance cameras catch the masked man standing silently outside the police station's front doors before vanishing mysteriously. Officers find Polaroid photos of themselves left anonymously at their homes, each taken within the last 24 hours, proving the killer's constant surveillance. Laura devises a risky plan to lure the killer to a controlled location by leaking false info about a key witness willing to talk in the desert. Night falls over Joshua Tree as Laura and agents wait tensely in the dark, their breath visible in the cool desert air. The silence is heavy with anticipation. Radio crackles sharply, movement spotted northwest ridge. One subject. Masked. Laura's pulse races. She lifts her binoculars, scanning the rocky horizon. There, silhouetted against the moonlit desert, stands a familiar figure. Silent, still, watching. The masked figure begins moving closer. Carefully and deliberately, Laura signals her team to spread out quietly, preparing to trap him. The desert night hums with tension, every shadow alive. At just 20 feet away, Laura's voice pierces the night. Police! Drop the camera. Hands where we can see them. The figure halts, then slowly sets down the Polaroid camera, lifting his empty hands. 2 agents pounce from their hiding spots, tackling the figure to the ground. The mask falls off with a soft thud, revealing a weathered face with wild eyes. Recognition hits Laura instantly. Richard Cole, a former park ranger fired years ago, is handcuffed and silent. His sunburned, gaunt face tells stories of years living rough in the desert. The chilling realization of his crime sends a ripple through the team. The team raids Richard's concealed camp, finding hidden boxes of Polaroids and camping gear. Among the photos is the full series from Michael and Sarah's final trip. The final photo from the series shows Michael and Sarah sitting together, smiling warmly in golden sunlight. On the back, Sarah's handwriting reads, "For Daniel, always," a haunting reminder of the life they never lived. Sarah assists to receive the remains, tears streaming as she places a last photo inside the coffin. The family finally has closure after a decade of haunting uncertainty. Laura takes custody of the stitched leather mask, locking away as a symbol of darkness confronted and a reminder of vigilance. News spreads. Joshua Tree is safe again. Campers tentatively return, though the shadow of the past lingers like a whisper in the wind. Brian, forever changed by what he uncovered, leads hikes educating others on safety and awareness in the desert, honoring the Thompsons' memory. Late at night, Laura reviews the case files, haunted but determined. She knows darkness can return, but so can light, as long as people remain vigilant. Despite capture, questions remain. Were there other victims? Could darkness still lurk in remote corners of the desert? The mystery lingers. A figure watches Joshua Tree from afar, a camera in hand. Unknown if friend or foe, the desert remains alive with stories yet to be told. Experts continue to examine recovered Polaroids, hoping to unlock more clues hidden in their faded frames, pushing the investigation forward. Joshua Tree's local community gathers to honor the lost, creating memorials and strengthening bonds in the face of past tragedy. As the sun sets over Joshua Tree, The desert whispers a promise. No shadow is too deep to be illuminated, no mystery too dark to be unraveled.